Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. He's Reno's longest-serving mayor, now a county commissioner, and he's got the rundown.
Water, annexation, and Indian gaming. Just a few of the topics that we'll take up this morning with County Commissioner Pete Sferrazza. Sam?
And coming up on the pundit panel today, John Gwaltney, Bob Crowell, and Paul Enos. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Catch us straight, dine at 8. Lucky you. Lucky you. Dance till 1. Have some fun. Lucky you. Lucky you. Taste the shrimp. Have a sip. Try the pool. Play it cool. At the Sienna Hotel Spa Casino. Lucky you.
The biggest risk your company can take.
Well, Barbara, you did very well on your interview.
Hiring employees can help your business get to the next level.
And your resume looks outstanding.
And it can also expose you to corporate crimes and costly lawsuits that can bring your company to its knees.
So, we'd like to offer you a position.
Before you hire another employee, hire the professionals at Employer Links. Call today to get our free CD-ROM, The Top 8 Risks of Hiring Employees.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we welcome Pete Sferrazza, former mayor of Reno and now a county commissioner for Washoe County. Pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you, Sam.
You've been involved with tribes here in the area for a long time. Would you explain your involvement over the years?
Well, I came to Nevada as director of Nevada Indian Legal Services in 1976 and was hired to work here. I represented all the tribes in a project to develop law and order codes for the tribes. They had retroceded jurisdiction from the state back.
Hang on, in English?
Yeah, right.
Well, retrocession is the giving back of jurisdiction over their own governmental affairs from the state to the tribes. There was a public vote at that time. The legislature had enabled it to happen under the federal law. Historically, during the Eisenhower administration, there was a determination that tribes should be terminated throughout the United States and become simply citizens of the United States just like everyone else. And it was an abysmal failure where it was instituted. I was involved with the Menominee tribe in Wisconsin, which was one of the examples where, and the Klamath tribe in Oregon.
Back up just a minute. Why was it a failure, Pete?
Because what happened, the tribes lost their lands, they lost everything. I mean, the people were destitute within a few years.
They said we're going to make you citizens, but...
Basically, developers came in, took over their properties. Swindlers of all types jumped on the opportunity. And so now, most of the tribes have been restored to trust status. Their lands are held in trust by the United States, and they do have tribal governments, especially in the state of Wisconsin. Ely was the only tribe that decided not to retrocede, and today it is a retroceded tribe, meaning that it does have jurisdiction over its own courts, and I do serve part-time as a tribal judge there as well. So I worked with every tribe in developing the law and order codes, and I think over the years we were involved in litigation over jurisdiction in many cases, including cigarette sales and sales tax, and ultimately was involved in the legislation, which I think you're interested in asking me about today.
Well, yes, I find this fascinating. So, but just to clarify, so now the Reno Sparks Indian Colony doesn't have its own courts?
Yes, it does.
It does. Okay. Well,
What I said,
the Ely tribe, I got confused. So.
No, what I said in Nevada, all of the tribes were under Public Law 280. They had been terminated. They did not have jurisdiction over their own courts and legislature, etc.
Okay.
They were subject to state courts.
But now they do have their own.
Now they do.
Okay.
And Washoe tribe, which is the only kind of exception to that, because they had lands on both sides of the California border, and California is still under Public Law 280 in certain circumstances. Part of the tribe had retroceded, and part of it was still subject to state of California jurisdiction.
All right. Now, so is the Sparks Indian Colony, are they completely free to do whatever they like with on the land that they own? Or are there some restrictions?
Well, yeah, they're free to do whatever they like, just as any other property owned in the state of Nevada is.
So, but complying with zoning laws and...
Well, they have their own zoning, but the Reno Sparks Indian Colony, to my knowledge, has basically followed the zoning of the area in which it is in, the city of Reno or Washoe County. They've pretty much followed the same zoning requirements, same building codes, etc. When they have projects built, they have them built by people who build them according to the UBC, the Uniform Building Code, and they're pretty much consistent with what has happened in the community.
Okay, that's the background. Let's take a break and come back and talk about what's going on currently, and we want to get your opinions. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this timeout.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch. Atlantis.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at DeAndrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South DeAndrea Parkway in Sparks.
Welcome to Sushi Club, best sushi in town. The Sushi Club in Independence Square uses the best quality products. The sushi is dynamite, and the service is just wonderful.
The Sushi Club is bigger and better. We have 11 sushi chefs on staff, and the service is great.
All your friends will tell you that Sushi Club is the best place for the best sushi.
Come join us for lunch or dinner.
The Sushi Club, 294 East Moana Lane in the Independence Square.
Now that's great sushi.
To experience the royal cuisine of India, you need some serious magic or simply transport yourself to India Garden, right here in Reno, where you'll discover Indian specialties refined over centuries. Sikh kebab, tandoori dishes cooked in our own tandoor oven, biryani specialties, curries, fresh-baked Indian bread, over a dozen vegetarian dishes, even dishes rare to India like dosa, South Indian-style crepes. India Garden off South Virginia near Sports West. We are India.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're speaking with Washoe County Commissioner Pete Sferrazza. Pete, what was your involvement in the compact that was put together, about a decade ago?
Well, at that time I was representing several tribes in the state of Nevada, including Reno-Sparks Indian Colony and the Washoe tribe, and I think the Las Vegas Paiute tribe. And what was happening at that time, there were sales on the reservation, untaxed sales, and the Supreme Court had ruled that the state could require a tribe to collect it. However, the Supreme Court also ruled that tribes had sovereign immunity and there was no real enforcement mechanism to do it.
That's the U.S. Supreme Court.
U.S. Supreme Court. So we were kind of in a Netherland where the on-reservation sellers were realizing a competitive advantage against the sellers in the state. So we negotiated a compact with the state of Nevada whereby they agreed no longer to try and prosecute non-Indians for buying stuff on the reservation. In return, we agreed to collect a tax equal to or greater than the sales tax on the res, and off the res, where there was also a jurisdictional question because the tribes had businesses off reservation. In Yerington, they had the Dairy Queen off the reservation. Reno-Sparks had a newspaper off the reservation, printing company. And they were not paying sales tax as well. And the dispute there was, well, this is the tribe off the reservation. They're subject to the same laws as anyone else. But again, there was an enforcement problem. So what the compact, in essence, agreed to was that the off-reservation sales by the tribes would be subject to state tax, period, same as anyone else. On reservation, they would be subject to a tax equal to or greater than the state tax, which eliminated any competitive advantage that a retailer would have by locating on the reservation. So in essence, today, there is no real competitive advantage to a business going on the reservation or being off. Same
and the
deal.
only way that you would see a loss of sales tax would be if existing businesses moved over to reservation land, then the Indians would receive, or the Native Americans would receive that tax money instead of the county. Is that correct?
Yeah, but no more than if they moved to California or to Idaho or any place else.
Right.
And the counties, the difference here is the county doesn't provide services on the reservation, or the city for that matter, very limited services of any type, except maybe backup services. The tribes provide their own police, they provide their own road maintenance, they provide all the big ticket items that the county would be responsible for. And
what about fire?
Fire is either done by a compact intergovernmental agreement where they pay for it, or volunteer fire departments on the reservations.
So if you had this piece of land on South Virginia, let's say there was a fire there, who would take care of that?
I can't answer that. I'm not currently their attorney. I don't even know if, but I can tell you in the past what would happen is probably Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District would respond. Now it would be the city of Reno.
I mean, let me come to the bottom line. I guess is that with the discussion of this Mercedes-Benz dealership opening up on Indian land. Do you, as a Washoe County Commissioner, have a concern that this could be the start of something that could erode Washoe County's tax base to any significant degree, or do you think it's overblown and this is self-sufficiency for the tribes, which is certainly what they're saying, and it certainly seems to be, from what you're saying, that they have a need for money?
Well, I don't know if it's overblown. Obviously, I have a concern just as anyone else does. I voted against specific legislation involved in the Truckee River Canyon, which gives a total sales tax exemption as originally drafted to a company coming to the state of Nevada in order to build the infrastructure to attract that company. In that case, the company was Sabella's, and I don't know if they've come or not, or if they're going to come, but the end result was that we have a real tax haven out there where they're not going to pay tax. In the case of the tribes, they pay the tax, and the tribe provides a service. In the case of the land out in the Truckee River Canyon, we provide the service but don't receive the tax. So to me, that's far more threatening than a situation where somebody locates within Washoe County, does business within Washoe County, receives its services from the tribe, and provides employment and indirectly generates sales tax for Washoe County as well. So I don't see it as a big threat at this point in time. If it becomes one, at that point, we can deal with it. But I don't see it as the case right now. And in fact, we have a business that came to the community, a new business that wasn't here otherwise.
I want to change the subject just briefly. I'm concerned about the water issue, Pete, as far as what's Washoe County, what's Tumwa. Are you going to work out some sort of merger, do you think, between the county and Tumwa's? We have water at Fish Springs that could be brought down here if we can work out some sort of thing as to who's in charge.
Well, first of all, we are in charge so far as Fish Springs go, Washoe County. That water would never be used in the Truckee River Basin, and by agreement could not be so used at this point in time. So we have the water of the Truckee River, which is largely controlled by Tumwa, which I also sit on that board. And the water in the South Truckee Meadows is generally groundwater provided through the county or through Stimgid utility. Sun Valley is another utility which provides water to its customers, buys wholesale from Tumwa, and then runs the delivery system. Overall, I think there would be advantages to consolidation. Brought it before the county commission, and we agreed to pursue discussion of that to see if there would be a way to consolidate all of the water utilities under Washoe County and provide the service countywide. And I think that would be in the interest of the overall community to have a single source provider within Washoe County.
Are you categorically saying that we will not see importation of Fish Springs Valley water into the Truckee Meadows?
I believe it would be used in the North Valleys, yes.
It would be used in the, okay, all right.
Truckee Meadows water basin is not the North Valley, so we're talking about a separate area. So,
okay, all right,
but if that water were, there were complaints by Pyramid Lake Tribe about the TDS level within the water
TDS?
Fish, total dissolved solids, and the treatment necessary to bring that up to the water
Same
quality
level.
of Truckee River would be, I mean, it's possible, so I can't say it would never happen, but the expense would make it non-competitive with Truckee River water, so economically it's highly unlikely that we would have Fish Springs water going into the Truckee River.
Okay. Washoe County Commissioner Pete Sferrazza, thank you so much for being here. We want to point out that we did invite representatives from the Reno Sparks Indian Colony to be on the program today to join in this discussion, and they are welcome to be on the show anytime they want. It was a pleasure having them on here a couple of weeks ago. Thank you very much. We'll be right back with the Pundits after this.
Before you head to Carson, take care of yourself with a visit to Tamarack Junction. Catch a hot cup of coffee and the morning news on one of our 32 TVs and enjoy the best food in South Reno. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
The Abowd family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Your home is an expression of all things comforting and familiar. For custom storage, you can count on California Closets to provide quality, value, and design integrity. The process is easy, combining your personal style with our organizing expertise. We care about what matters most to you, making your home functional and beautiful. California Closets, simplifying home and life since 1978. Call today for your complimentary design consultation.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Make your daily commute easy with breakfast or lunch at the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy daily specials, super fast service, and South Reno's freshest morning meals. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, I have a little housekeeping to do here.
Okay.
I promised the folks at the DMV Express on Peckham and South Virginia that I would say on this program what a great job they're doing and how they got me in and got me out speedily. And
Pay
thanks
off.
to all of you.
Pay off. Pay off.
Let's introduce our pundit panel today. Paul Enos with the Nevada Retail Association, John Gwaltney, who's a member of the school board, and Bob Crowell, who's an attorney. Welcome to all of you.
Morning.
And a member of the Carson City School Board.
And indeed.
Right.
Go ahead, Andy. You take the first question.
Okay, well, let's first of all talk a little bit about the Board of Regents. Let's start with that. The Board of Regents, well, actually, why don't one of you, John, why don't you recap for us what the issue has been before the Board of Regents?
Well, certainly you're referring to the issue that's taking place in Las Vegas currently with Southern Nevada Community College. I think the issue here is somewhat muddied. It's difficult to know exactly what the charges were against the two individuals who have been reduced in rank. I've known Ron Remington for a very long period of time. He served as academic vice president for me at TMCC. I did not know John Cummings well, but I've met him a couple of times.
Well, and let me back up just a little bit so the public understands a little bit better. What happened was that Wendell Williams, who's an assemblyman, in having to pay back charges, monies and so forth to the city of Las Vegas, made certain charges about the university. And it turned out that Wendell Williams had a female friend, Bridget Jones, that he asked Southern Nevada Community College to hire. They did so. Then during the course of the session, she stopped sort of working for Southern Nevada Community College and wore a jacket that said Wendell Williams assistant, sat with him on the floor of the assembly. When the session was over, John Cummings, who we've had on this show before, viewers might remember him, was unhappy with the work that Bridget Jones was doing. They transferred her to another department. Her supervisor there was unhappy with her work. She was on probation. She was not a full-time employee yet as far as being permanent.
Everybody's been unhappy with her work who she's worked with at the university, apparently. They said she didn't show up, or if she showed up, she would show up late. She would complain about the dust from the construction. I don't know if she's filed a suit over that yet, but I know that's been alleged. So it's kind of interesting that John Cummings and Ron Remington, they get demoted from their positions.
Let's explain to the public what happened next. Then John Cummings instituted paperwork to fire Bridget Jones, to terminate her, whereupon Wendell Williams, Assemblyman Wendell Williams, went to Jane Nichols, the chancellor, and begged her not to fire this girl, and Jane Nichols intervened and said that she gave Bridget Jones, which on our show she said no, she didn't give her whistleblower status, but at the time she said she did, because she can't give it. Only the state can grant whistleblower status. And she stopped the termination. When that happened, then the Board of Regents hired a former IRS investigator who's been retired for a few years to do an investigation of Bridget Jones and Wendell Williams. That investigation was released to the Board of Regents last week in a two-day
1,000 pages.
Two-day closed-door session. And we don't know how much of that 1,000-page report was this man's bill.
Well, and I think, part of what the unspoken, and I don't know if it's so unspoken anymore, is that I don't know how the Board of Regents did this. I mean, they apparently either fired or demoted Cummings and Remington, and I don't know, just looking at the news reports, I don't know that either Remington or Cummings was given the 5-day notice that they're required to by the open meeting law. Do you have to give them notice to be there? And I don't think the reports I heard or read said they weren't even in the room when that was discussed. I think those employees have an absolute right, if they knew that their conduct or character was going to be discussed, to have that proceeding open and to be present in that, even if it was closed. And I think that somebody ought to take a look at whether or not they were given appropriate notice.
Well, and let's back up.
Perhaps a chance to defend themselves.
Right. And let's back up a little bit. Let's back up a little bit. On this personnel session, but on this personnel session, a lot of people were notified that they were going to be talked about. When they showed up for the session, everyone was kicked out of the room except for Jane Nichols, the chancellor. all the parties that were going to be discussed were told they must leave the room.
See, I don't think you can do that. I think.
Oh, they did it. It's not a question of whether you can or not. They did.
Yeah, I don't. You know, a lot of us sit on public boards. You know, and I did one. I think the statute says if you're going to discuss someone and they want to be in that room, they have an absolute right to be there. And boy, you know, if someone sitting on a public board, if the person I was going to discuss said, I either want this meeting to be open or I want to be present, I'd say let's have it open, because you always err if you're in the public arena. You always err on the side of having it public. Period.
That's right.
Except when you're the Board of Regents.
Maybe so.
Yeah, so let's explain.
We don't have time. Oh, we have 30 seconds.
Okay. What happened is they went into closed session. They stayed in closed session for 2 days. They came out into public session, took a vote to fire Ron Remington, the president of Southern Nevada Community College, and John Cummings, his assistant, and they're trying to do away with John's tenure by claiming insubordination.
And we should point out that both of them at this point are being allowed to go back into the faculty, but they are trying to push to see if they can actually get John Cummings fired completely, get rid of his tenure.
All right, and
we'll have more on this for you. It's a long. That's why we have Nevada Newsmakers. It's a soap opera. It keeps going. We'll be right back. It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch. Atlantis.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
And we'll have more on Wednesday on your Board of Regents.
Correct. And tomorrow we talk to Bill Manders, the new talk show host for KOH, and Derek Morse about this new money that's coming in. What does it mean to Washoe County?
We'll see.
Thank you for watching.